Well, folks, it seems 2025 decided to throw us a real curveball. Remember those awkward family reunions where distant relatives you barely know try to make small talk? That's basically the global stage right now, with China, Japan, and South Korea awkwardly huddling together at the economic punch bowl. Yes, you heard that right. Those three, known more for their historical baggage than their buddy-buddy system, are suddenly the newest power trio in town. Now, before you go grabbing your atlases in disbelief, let's break down how we got here. Because honestly, even we're struggling to wrap our heads around this one. It's like watching a nature documentary where a lion, a tiger, and a bear decide to start a vegan catering company. Unlikely, sure, but hey, stranger things have happened. And by stranger things, we mean basically everything else in 2025 so far. Remember those tariffs former President Trump slapped on Chinese imports? The ones that were supposed to bring back manufacturing jobs and make America great again? Well, they did manage to bring something back: closer ties between three countries that would usually rather eat glass than collaborate. See, Trump's tariffs didn't just target China, he also went after Japan and South Korea's auto industries, because apparently making enemies is a team sport. This economic pressure cooker, while ill-advised in almost every other way, did manage to force these three economic powerhouses into a corner. And what happens when you back three very capable, very competitive countries into a corner? They start looking for a way out, preferably one that involves sticking it to the guy who put them there. So in March of this year, these unlikely allies decided to stop rehashing old grudges and start hashing out some deals. High-ranking officials from all three countries met in Seoul, and it wasn't just for the kimchi. They agreed to work together to counter those pesky US tariffs, because nothing says we're over it like teaming up against a common enemy. They also talked about boosting trade between their countries, which is diplomatic speak for let's make some money together. And just to add a cherry on top of this already baffling sundae, they even whispered about the possibility of a trilateral free trade agreement. That's right, folks, a free trade agreement between China, Japan, and South Korea. We're going to need a stronger word than unexpected for this one. Now we know what you're thinking, but Diplab, didn't these guys hate each other like 5 minutes ago? And the answer, dear viewers, is a resounding yes. We're talking about centuries of territorial disputes, political tensions, and let's not forget, that whole World War II thing. It's complicated to say the least. Even recently, things haven't exactly been peachy. Japan's decision to release treated wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear plant into the ocean didn't exactly win them any popularity contests in the region, so yeah, these three have a lot of baggage. But hey, maybe that's the secret to their newfound friendship. After all, who needs therapy when you can just bond over your shared history of, well, let's just call it disagreements? Now, this is bound to shake things up from a global point of view. Okay, so we've established that this whole alliance is about as likely as a unicorn winning the Kentucky Derby. But here's the thing, it's actually happening, and it has the potential to shake up the global landscape in a big way. We're talking about a tectonic shift in economic power, one that has the United States feeling a little left out in the cold. Think about it. These three countries combined represent a massive chunk of the global economy. If they're serious about working together, they could potentially reshape trade routes, set new global standards, and maybe even launch their own cryptocurrency backed by, we don't know, ramen noodles and K-pop albums? The point is, this is a big deal, and the rest of the world is watching with a mixture of fascination and a healthy dose of, what the hell just happened? So, what have we learned today, folks? Well, for starters, never underestimate the power of a good old-fashioned trade war to bring sworn enemies together. It turns out that nothing says, let's be friends, like a mutual dislike of tariffs and a desire to stick it to the guy who imposed them. But on a more serious note, this unexpected alliance is a reminder that the world is a constantly shifting landscape. Alliances are fluid, enemies can become partners, and sometimes, the only way to achieve your goals is to team up with the people you least expect. It's enough to make your head spin, but hey, that's international diplomacy for you. It's never boring, that's for sure. In the end, this whole China-Japan-South Korea thing is a bit like a geopolitical rom-com. It's messy, it's complicated, and frankly, we're not entirely sure how it's going to end. But one thing's for certain, we'll be here, popcorn in hand, watching every awkward encounter, every tense negotiation, and every surprisingly successful collaboration. Because in the wise words of some guy who probably knows a lot more about international relations than we do, the enemy of my enemy is my business partner. And in this case, business is booming.